Good evening. Welcome to the council meeting of July 15th, 2025. If anyone in the audience needs amplifying headphones, please raise your hand and we'll bring those to you. Not seeing any. Can we rise for the pledge? I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Donna, can you do a roll call, please?
I will. Councilmember Blush.
Here.
Member Stearns.
Here.
Councilmember Gilmore.
Here.
Mayor Nesco.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sherman.
Here.
Councilmember Sapp.
Here.
And Councilmember Gutierrez.
Here. Thank you, Donna. Well, council have any late changes to the agenda? City manager, any late changes?
No, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Any board reports to share?
I do have a board report to share. I was with the Parks Advisory Board last night. We talked about the plans for the Crosstown Trail, connecting the park and ride over on 101 to the park and ride over on Highway 3. I'm going through town and they are in study. It's already been paid for, but the studies will be through and we're hoping to get real work done on that in the next few years. Secondly, Kathleen McDowell was there, former Councilmember McDowell, and she was talking about doing something with the pear orchard right beside the park and ride over on Highway 3. Maybe taking graftings or having some sort of memorial sale for the David Shelton Old Pear Orchard, and then maybe finding a group to start rehabbing it and volunteers to have it cleaned up and or adopted. So that's what's going on last night at the Parks Advisory Board, and hopefully we'll connect our rails and trails and our park system all together and have a walkable, livable city downtown.
I just want to say that we had a great kickoff of music at the park on Thursday by the Rotary, and the city put on the movies at the park, and they were both very well attended. Standing room only, you could say, but not really. But no, they were great. They were great events. So and they also will be this Thursday. Will be music. I believe it's a quartet, and Friday we're playing. Oh, I forget. Philo and Hit or something. I don't know. But yes. So all right. Anything else? All right, is there a motion to approve our consent agenda as published?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as published.
Again. All right, there's a motion and Tom seconded to approve the consent agenda as published. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. All right, the council invites the public to make comments on matters of city business. Comments shall be made to the entire council, not individual council members. Please refrain from any personal disrespectful remarks that create disruption of the meeting. If unreasonable disruptive conduct continues, you'll be asked to leave. Donna, anyone signed up for public comment?
We do, Mr. Mayor. Our first speaker is Amanda Keschner. Yes.
My name is Amanda Keschner, and I am president here in Shelburne. Good evening, council members. My name is Amanda, and I am founder of the CPNW, Mason County's first holistic health and nature retreat center. I've been a property owner here since 2019, and I'm deeply grateful to be a part of this community. I'm committed to rooting my work in service, healing, and integrity for the people of Mason County. However, I have experienced and witnessed serious gaps in public safety, justice, and accountability that I hope this council will take seriously. In December 2019, I fled domestic violence and reported, I'm gonna not say the word only because there's a kid here, some serious stuff. I didn't know there was going to be a kid here. And despite my report, my name was misspelled and by law enforcement, and the legal systems ultimately protected my abuser, who was a non-citizen, through the Thurston County rulings in Mason County here. This raises a few critical questions that I have for the council. One, how is justice being upheld for survivors of domestic violence in our county? Two, who ensures accountability when law enforcement errors occur? It happens, we're all human. Three, why do non-citizens sometimes get prioritized over the rights and safety of our local residents? I've also seen some alarming patterns since I've lived here in Sheldon. 1, unwarranted home entries by law enforcement with no official reports made. False mental health claims resulting in unjust detainment. Who oversees the DCR process? I mean, people are calling from 3,000 miles away to make reports for people. And why is it that there's a local smoke shop downtown right by the circle that is selling psychedelics to the public when we have a really big homeless crisis and a mental health crisis right here, and that could set some people literally over the edge. I'm a scientist, and that's what I study firsthand. And that really concerns me, being in peer support in this community. And finally, I'd like to ask, what is the current status of legalizing tiny homes in Mason County? And are there any other plans to expand on community supported transitional villages like the Veterans Village that we see here in Shelton? And I hear one is coming in 2026. And that's something that I've done personally and really support and would love to know a little bit more. And last, I would really like to add, thank you for all of your efforts to clean up the park by the sheriff's office. It's encouraging to see that action is being taken for the public safety and the community well-being. I respectfully request any written responses to any of these questions, and thank you so much for your time and your service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dean Jewett.
Good evening. So I'm going to hit the big elephant in the room, language. So apparently there were some individuals here at the last time I spoke that were offended by the language that I used. I want to remind each and every one of you sitting up there that that was a quote from Eric Anisco. That wasn't my language that I just came up with. So I just wonder if those individuals would have been as mortified as I was when he went on that tirade with everybody in the room, fully loaded, 20 people, judges, police officers, everybody else. So let's just make sure that that's super crystal clear. Eric has a habit of motioning and making kisses at individuals in the room. Very unprofessional. I'm probably going to do a public records request to see if there was any retraining done or any manuals given to Eric so that he understands what his goals are and how to operate. Let's talk about the ETS truck. I've been doing some public requests on the ETS truck, working with some people at the county. So the city has the sole power to move that truck. It is not under contract with the county. It is solely resting on the city's hands. So if you guys need to have that truck moved, the council, you need to tell the individuals to move that truck. As far as I know, public records request that I got, they do not have a permit. If they do not have a permit, then they don't have a license. If they don't have a license to operate in the city of Shelton, how do you get your B&O taxes? Okay, right now, Yosemite's Ministries has a food truck down there at the park right now, serving unsafe and unhealthy food with raw hands, no hand washing, and complete violation of Mason County Health Departments. So if you guys know about it and you don't do anything, where's your liability? So let's talk about Brewer Park a little bit. It got cleaned up. Did it get fully cleaned up? No. Is it making a bounce back? Yes. 2 or 3 times I've had to call for complete blocking of the sidewalks, people spending the night there again. When you look at these laws and ordinances that are written, there's no exemptions for different things. If we're going to enforce them, then let's enforce them 100%, not just a little bit. We had a great car show downtown. We had an RV that's pulled around by hand that's been parked down on 4th Street now for 2 weeks. Guy's been living in it for a year. Nothing ever seems to happen to it. It's chained up to a no parking sign. We have the gentleman sleeping on the bench by the bank during all of the stuff that's going on. How does that look? I mean, is that really, empathetic that we're letting him live like that? Where's the DCR? Where's the people that need to be taking care of this? Something to think about. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we have, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Right, we have a presentation tonight. Financial status report, interim director, Terry Stissner.
Oh, one moment. I'm going to share a screen here for Terry.
But
That's okay. I could,
No, I'm there.
well, I could talk a little bit. Thank you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and council members. I wanted, while Mark's bringing that up, I wanted to touch on a few other things that, in the finance department. The first thing is, I want to talk about our local government investment pool account, which, is our investment, one of our investment accounts. The other is our US Bank bonds. And, which we currently have 6.5 million in the US Bank. And these are our longer term investment bonds. And then LGIP, we currently have 18.7 million in there. And it's currently, this is where the good news is that it's earning great returns. Currently it's at 4.38%. And so I wanted to let you know that in 2024, our total interest earned, and this is citywide funds. So, but 638,000. So almost, so that's the unprecedented amount that we haven't seen. In 2023, it was 412,000. So in the, there was an 8-year average of, from 2017 to 2024, it was $202,000. So I have, anytime we have an investment maturing from US Bank, I've been investing that into LGIP so that we can earn more interest. So that's why we have such a large amount in LGIP right now. Now, I'm expecting the bubble to burst. Probably, maybe, late summer, September, that Feds are talking about, whether they're going to lower, Federal Reserve is going to lower the rates. So when that happens, then transition into the US Bank, into investing in bonds again. So that's the first one. Second one is, we're right in the middle of the 2026 budget, and that is underway. I want to give special thanks to Hannah Mareglot, who was our senior account analyst, and she moved into the budget coordinator grant administrator position. And so because we had 2 vacancies within the department, and she was able to pull all the information together to bring you the financial report tonight. So I'm very proud of her and, the hard work that she's done to pick up the pieces and help get our budget going. The third thing is that I want to, I have a pre-audit meeting with our state auditor's office tomorrow. This is not the entrance audit. It's just to get to know the new auditor, because our auditor from the previous years, last 3 years, has moved to a different team in the auditor's office. And so this will be a new person to us. And I think it's just a matter of logistics, how we're going to communicate the information, but also we are scheduled to have a federal single audit for our grants this year. So that has to be audited by September 30th. So, but it kind of sounded like, until I know tomorrow, but it sounded like it was going to be, the financials also within that time frame. So they told us last year it was going to be about fall, but they might pull it all together. This is a 1-year audit since we're up to date now, which I'm very thankful for. Okay, so the monthly financial report. So on page 1, so we are still showing a favorable variance from April still, from our last meeting, with our ending fund balance showing just under 6 million for the general fund. And keep in mind, we have that 20% reserved amount. But with the expected revenues to be a little bit more and then expenditures to be a little less. It still gives us a favorable variance. So if we go to page 2, we have our general fund overview for revenues, and these are our all our major revenue for the property tax, sales tax, but property tax, we're keeping that right at what we budgeted. Even though it's showing a little bit coming in a little bit on the positive side, I just don't know if that's new construction or if that's people who have paid their full year property tax. So until we come in November from October 30th, 31st payments, then we'll have a better idea. But sales tax, right now it's shown an unfavorable. I'm expecting that to be up a little bit, just because the state is 2 months behind of submitting sales tax to us. So these are March numbers. Okay. So, so we're just still early in that process for the sales tax. Our business and occupation tax is coming in strong. But again, we now have just our monthly filers and our quarterlies that will be filing for the rest of the year, because all of the yearly filers came in April. We saw that in the April financials. Our miscellaneous revenues is coming in strong because of the interest that I mentioned earlier for our LGIP in the US Bank. And so most of these revenues are trending as budgeted, but we're still keeping an eye on them all, and will be for, the rest of the year, actually. But for the general fund overview of expenditures, they're most of them are falling within what we projected for 2025. Page 4, our general fund year to year, and page 5, general fund month to month. It just shows you, a snapshot in time from what we were 2024, 2023, and how we compare to those years. So, and I want to bring your attention to page 7. These are the fund balances, all city-wide fund balances. And so we're pretty much staying true to what we have estimated for the fund balance. And then for the FTEs, we have 2 new vacancies since I reported to you in April. So 1 in community development and 1 in the storm drain utility. And then page 8 through 12 are just all of the citywide overview of revenue and expenditures. And I just want to keep everybody in mind that May is about 42% of the year right now. So we're coming upon, summer months, even though we're in July right now, but these reports are just the start of summer, and a lot of activity starts happening in the summer months. So we'll be expecting more expenditures, hopefully more revenue because of sales tax and all that. But just want to keep that in mind for everybody to think about. Okay, and that was it. Any questions?
So we're looking at an increase in the ending fund balance for the general fund. Is this maybe pushing off to 28 maybe instead of 27 being our problem here? Or I mean, if things continue at this route, at this pace.
Well, we still projected it. Oops, I went way too far. We're still projected or budgeted at least that about 1.2 million in fund balance to offset the general fund expenditures. So I would think it's a little early right now, as Terry just mentioned. This is May report. We've got a lot of busy time and work going on right now and expenditures that are going to incur over the summer. We're going to continue monitoring that. As you see, the revenue is favorable as well as the expenditures. So we're collecting a little more in revenue. We're expending a little less at this point in the year. So yes, that's favorable. But again, not to the point of the $1.2 million that we budgeted for expenditures. Now, does it mean that we can potentially carry this on throughout the year? We're going to do our best. Obviously, we can't control the revenue side of things, but we can reasonably control some of the expenditures and make sure that we're being prudent with our residents, our taxpayers funds to make sure that we're diminishing what our potential service level reductions going into 26. So we'll continue monitoring. I apologize if that's a little vague. But again, as you start building a budget this time of the year for 2026, 5 months in advance, there's a little bit of, if you will, wiggle room that we'll continue monitoring, and we'll be able to tighten up a little bit as we get to September, October, and November, when you'll be reviewing the preliminary budget and final budget.
I guess I have a follow-on question to that. When we're talking about year-to-date revenue and year-to-date expenditures, do we have them budgeted at an even month? So January and March are all the same. Every month is the same, or do we use a historical average to kind of look at it and say, we would have thought we'd be here?
Yeah. Take a look at what the historical average is, see, what the trends are, right? So yeah, it's, I wish I could have a big crystal ball that is correct, but it's difficult to do that sometimes, but it's just a best guess, and educated guess based off of that trend.
Perfect. So we don't know that we have all these expenditures that we expect later, but on a month-to-month basis. That's good.
And again, you have that 20%, reserved for these shortfalls that we do have in revenue if we do have a shortfall in sales tax or property tax or anything like that. So to help that fund balance stay solvent.
And you'll see we don't have many fluctuations, right? If you look back at historical 22, 3, 4, and 5, it's pretty darn consistent. Expenditures have increased. The revenue side is really predictable, frankly. It's the expenditures that frankly are predictable as well, as we see inflationary costs for insurance and wages and employee benefits continue to rise. Those are fairly predictable. And so that's exactly why, we're budgeting that 1.2 million for this year to maintain the services we have and continuing to look at service levels for 2026 and beyond to narrow that gap.
Thank you, Terry, and your team.
Thank you.
Your new team, I guess.
Yes. They're a
Promoted
great team.
All right. All right. Our only business item is resolution for security contract. Assistant Public Works Director Aaron Nix has more information.
Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council, thank you. The honor to be here. Want to just start off to let you know that next week's study session is basically going to be dedicated to capital projects, as well as ADA transition plan that we just recently finished. What you're going to find is a lot of the projects that I had mentioned that we were working on our right. We're looking to get out to bid about 5 projects this year. Currently, there's one that's open, and first item that I want to talk about is related to that. The current project that's open is the police area fencing project that we have going on out here. I've talked to the council about that in the past. We'll again talk about it next week, but the desire and the intent is we got a $200,000 grant in order to provide some protected parking for our police staff right here on this side of the building. What you have before you, I had mentioned this in the past. There was a security element to this, of which we've been moving forward with. About a year or so ago, I worked for IT manager, and we began looking at security applications that we might be able to utilize. We looked at 3 or 4 different vendors. We landed on Genetec, which is the same software and hardware packages that UB3 uses. And we found that program is excellent. It does, there's some AI associated with it. It basically identifies and tells us if there are anybody in the vicinity. You can actually outline a perimeter within the software that if anybody crosses that, we get alerted that there's somebody in the vicinity. So in addition to that, at least those discussions, we received a $200,000 grant to construct that. Mark was also able to land a $250,000 grant for other areas within the city in which we're going to apply the software as well as security functions. So again, what you have before you, we have already purchased the software. It was purchased last year. And we've been utilizing it to just become more familiar with it. We're ready to proceed. Like I said, the police fencing project is going to bid opening is August 5th. What you have before you is the actual hardware associated with that project. When I say hardware, we are going to be bringing forward a contract, obviously the one that's all opening on the 5th. That's for the physical elements like fencing, the card reader arms, not the card readers. What this is for the actual equipment that we need to purchase. And the reason why we're bringing this to you beforehand, before this, is we want to have this on contract as we proceed with issuing the contract for that project, so that as that project unfolds, we will then integrate this piece nicely in the project as it's ending. That's our intent. And we're writing our special provisions to account for that. So what you have before you is, in essence, it's about $59,000. It includes multiple cameras, as well as, interestingly, there's a camera that actually identifies license plates for our police folks. The idea being, as they back up, it will trigger that it will trigger the fence to start opening, so that, because typically they are racing out of here to go to calls. So, like I said, very sophisticated software, but easy, user-friendly stuff that myself and facilities will help manage. So what I have before you is we'd like to enter into that agreement. Also, might emphasize this particular vendor is on what we call a state contract, meaning that we are going to get the absolute best prices and we can avoid having to go through formal procurement for this. That's a real benefit for us because it takes a lot of time to send out RFQs and all that. So that's the real benefit of this company as well, is that we were going to get the best ratings for the equipment, software, everything, because of that agreement they have. So I'm just looking tonight to hopefully move this to the action agenda. I'm happy to take any questions.
Right. Donna, reading the resolution number 1392-0725.
Resolution number 1392-0725. A resolution of the Council of the City of Shelton, Washington, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Convergent Security for the placement, programming, commissioning, and testing of the Genetec security system and associated equipment in support of the Civic Center Police Security Fencing Project.
Thank you, Donna. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to place resolution number 1392-0725 on the action agenda for the August 19th, 2025 council meeting for further consideration.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second from Deputy Mayor and Councilmember Stearns. I knew that. Any more comments or questions?
Thank you so much for being a step ahead.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
No, you got it, absolutely. I just want to mention, for the benefit of the people in the audience, there is a page within this packet that has been, basically, I took marker and crossed it out. The reason why I did that, I am trying to hide something. I am trying to hide, those are specific locations of where this equipment is going to go. So I wanted to kind of keep that out of. Their safety is of ultimate importance for me, so that's why that was hand crossed out. So that's all.
All right.
just wanted to say, Aaron, thank you for going through the whole process and for getting proven equipment that's been working for other folks. And then thank you for looking through all the details and making sure that we not only got a good system that works, but a system that's cost effective the way you're bringing it in. So thank you so much.
That was our main focus.
All right. Yes, thank you, Aaron. I know this has been a long time coming. We've had a grant for this for what, 3 years now? Been 3?
Close.
Close. All right. So we have a motion and a second to place resolution number 1392-0725 on the action agenda for August 19th, 2025 for council further consideration. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we have onto the action item. We have resolution for well pump replacement, well one pump replacement.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I just want to say, if you've noticed, wells 1 and wells 3 now have their flooring buildings that were installed late last week. I have to apologize for the color. That is not the color we ordered. They're actually physically, it's a forest green, a very dark green that we asked for. That's more blue green. We talked to them, they're gonna come up and paint them correct. So just want to make you aware of that. This is a significant project for us. We talked about this at your last council meeting. In essence, the only thing I changed to the briefing, guys, is I added the actual year in which that existing pump was placed in there, and that was 1989. Again, what we're trying to do is we have a $180,000 budget to replace and put a new pump in, upsize a little bit to help us accommodate future development, those types of things, as well as I talked to you about the VFD systems, the variable frequency drives. In essence, what they do is they help the pump ramp up and ramp down very slowly. The biggest issue with pumps is turning them on and off. That wears them immensely. So what these do, it actually increases the life expectancy of your pumps, and it's very much a cost savings that most utilities are. So again, no other changes. The desire here is to spend about, I believe, $70,000 to hire Grain Osborne, do all of the engineering with regard to the size, as well as making sure that it fits in the existing casing, as well as doing all the electrical work and getting VFDs installed within that facility. So if you have more questions, I'm happy to answer.
Right. Any public comment, Donna?
No, Mr. Mayor.
All right. May we read the resolution number 1390-0625.
Resolution number 1390-0625. A resolution of the Council of the City of Shelton, Washington, authorizing the city manager to execute an on-call A&E consultant pool work order with Grain Osborne Incorporated for design of the Well 1 pump replacement project.
Thank you, Donna. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt resolution number 1390-0625 as presented.
Second.
Right. Got that?
Got it. Thank you.
Comments or questions?
Just wanted to say thanks again for bringing the water and the quantity that we need and for upgrading what we've had since the 80s. So thanks for keeping it coming and for keeping an eye to the growth in the future. Thanks.
Anything else? All right. We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 1390-0625 as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Aaron. Mark, do you have a city manager report tonight?
A couple things for you tonight, Mayor, Council. The city of Shelton's proud to be participating in the Mason County Chamber Expo and Light Up Shelton this Friday. We'll have 2 booths downtown. We'll have a city booth that'll incorporate many of our departments, and then our police department will have a separate booth right next door. So I think we can make a little more room for all the staff that are going to participate and add an ability to communicate with our public and talk about the services we're providing, answer any questions they may have, and continue our outreach with our valuable public. Today, the residential paving started up on West Mountain View. I know they made great strides today, getting tacked down and getting asphalt. They'll be completing that work tomorrow. It's about a mile of pavement on city streets up there. So we're looking forward to having that complete and having some new pavement in that area. We are planning the National Night Out event for August 5th. So we're asking council to forego the meeting that night so we can make sure we're all available for our community to do some events right out here outside in the parking lot next door and potentially in this building with our Public Works Department, our Police Department, Central Mason Fire, and other departments. Rumor has it our Central Mason and our Police Department might have a few competitions planned. So we'll have some entertainment, if you will, for our general public, and a good way to get to know us outside of what we're doing with the expo as well. Great opportunity for outreach. And then there is a survey out right now about recreation programming, and we're wanting to get feedback from our community on what kind of recreation programs they're looking for, how we can enhance our offerings to our community and meet their needs as this community changes. So we encourage individuals and families to fill that survey out. It's available on our website. We've done some promotion through the city's social media accounts. So really want to reach out to the public and council, if you will, to promote that and make sure that we can meet our community's needs as far as recreation programming.
And that's it.
That's it for me.
Speaking of by the Shelton, if you want to dump me, I will be in the Habitat for Humanity booth from about 11 to 1. And I just looked at the weather forecast. It's gonna be quite a bit cooler, so I'm not too happy about that, but 3 balls for $10. Come dunk me. All right. Council, have any other discussion?
All right, votes are out. The TBD's on there, so I'm not gonna tell you how to vote, but it's there.
All right, our next study session is, Aaron mentioned, capital projects update, an ADA transition plan, and a conversation about signing authority for our city manager. And then the next meeting is canceled due to the National Night Out, and this study session is adjourned at 6:36 p.m. I'm sorry, this meeting is adjourned at 6:36 p.m.